And welcome to 13 News at noon on this Thursday. I'm Dustin Grove here with meteorologist Sean Ash. We've got Halloween tomorrow, trick-or-treating. I'm going to use a tired cliche.
Yeah.
And I apologize.
Go ahead.
But it's this thing that we say in Indiana, which is if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute.
Yeah.
And today, that is so true.
Well, yeah, over the course of the hour of our show, our sky condition over Indy is going to be changing. In fact, changing as we speak. I love our camera network because it really tells the story of what's happening at this hour here. Hello there, blue sky in Bainbridge, Carmel, starting to see the brightening sky. Crawfordsville looking nice, and then take a look at what's going on over in Connorsville in Fayette County, eastern part of the state. Yeah, the pavement's wet there. Same thing in Greensburg. We told you east is going to take a little bit longer, but it eventually will get there, and this is what's happening right now as we look south here in Indy from the station. We are right on the cloud line. If we were to take this camera and pivot it this way, it would be much brighter. 50 degrees, northwest wind 15. Gust will be over 20. That will eventually shove this cloud deck out of the state here by the time we get toward 5 p.m., but it will take longer, okay? Richmond, Newcastle, Muncie in the rain right now. Connorsville is right here. There's Batesville at 45, but boy, it is beautiful there. 51 in Crawfordsville, Double Nichols and Terre Haute. As we put the radar and cloud deck in motion, yeah, it's going to take a little bit longer here. I think by the time we get toward 4 o'clock in the metro, we'll start to see this brightening sky. But be patient there, and patience will be rewarded. We've got a little feature to the west of us. I'll let you know what that means for Halloween. And if you like warmer temperatures, hang tight. We've got a warming trend in the 7-day forecast as well.
All right, we'll look forward to that, Sean. Thank you. Happening right now, a news conference in Northwest Indiana is about to get underway. This is where the U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, is talking about their ongoing effort to crack down on illegal immigrants with a criminal background. Let's take you live there where you can see things are about to get started there as they're getting ready to speak. This is in Gary. This is called Operation Midwest Blitz. It started back in September to target primarily the Chicago region. And with Secretary Noem is Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons, along with Indiana Governor Mike Braun and the Indiana State Police Secretary Anthony Scott. Earlier this week, our NBC station in Chicago reported that this blitz has resulted in more than 3,000 allegedly undocumented immigrants being locked up. That's according to federal authorities. Many of them here illegally and wanted for serious crimes. And in Chicago, like some other large cities across the country, we've also seen some tense moments during some of those apprehensions with protesters and counter-protesters as well. So we are awaiting this news conference to begin any moment. Our Millie Longnecker is there for this news conference. We'll hear from her and Secretary Noem and the others online soon, and then later this afternoon starting on 13 News at 4. Today is round one of jury deferral in the trial for the man accused of killing an Elwood police officer. Carl Boards II is facing 11 charges, including murder, for shooting Officer Noah Shanavez through the windshield during a traffic stop back in 2022. Boards could face the death penalty if convicted. His lawyers are working to change that, though. They claim he has an intellectual disability. A judge, however, says doctors found him competent enough to stand trial. Court records show his trial is set for January 26th. His pretrial conference is set to take place tomorrow. A man is dead, another seriously hurt, both of them stabbed downtown Indy last night. Metro Police say this happened around 11 o'clock right here near Kentucky Avenue, not far from Lucas Oil Stadium. They believe there was some sort of disturbance between two men at that Speedway gas station, and that's where officers found the two men stabbed. The suspect died at the hospital, and at last check, the victim was alive but in critical condition. Investigators are now reviewing surveillance video from the scene. If you happen to have any information or know someone who does or were in the area and saw something, police certainly want to hear from you. A nurse practitioner in Carmel accused of writing fraudulent prescriptions has now formally been charged. 34-year-old Catherine Curtis faces 31 counts, including dealing in a controlled substance and drug possession. IMPD says several pharmacies reported Curtis to detectives for overprescribing patients and writing fake prescriptions. Curtis was in court yesterday for an initial hearing. Now to some troubling numbers here in Indiana. At least 83 Hoosiers died in domestic violence incidents last year, and unfortunately that number just keeps rising. But one organization is working to make sure those lives lost are never forgotten. Yesterday, the Domestic Violence Prevention Network hosted its Remembrance and Resilience event. And during that vigil, you see there, dozens of candles were lit in remembrance of victims, followed by a moment of silence that left many in tears. There was also artwork by survivors with Project Heal. That's an initiative to help victims recover through creativity and community. Experts say 1 in 3 people experience some type of domestic violence, but that number could be much higher because it's so underreported. They also say on average it takes someone 7 times to leave an abusive situation. We want you to know that help is out there. We have resources. We've posted those resources online so they're easy to find at WTHR.com. State lawmakers are poised to consider redrawing Indiana's congressional maps in the upcoming special legislative session, but we're learning there's a new timeline for this whole discussion. The Indiana House Speaker and Senate leaders say work will not start on Monday. It may not even start next week. Governor Braun announced earlier this week the session would convene November 3rd. That's Monday. Lawmakers are expected to tackle redistricting and tax reforms, too. For context, though, in the last special session back in 22, the legislature did not meet until a few weeks after the initial date. They've got 40 days to get it all done. Neighbors in Morgan County are meeting today at the Morgan County Public Library for one of 3 nonpartisan listening sessions surrounding redistricting. The session's going to kick off with remarks from Laura Merrifield Wilson. She's an associate professor of political science at the University of Indianapolis. We often talk to her here on 13 News. She's expected to touch on concerns surrounding redistricting before calling on the audience for comments and questions. These sessions are sponsored by Recenter Indiana, and the next one is coming up November 6th. It'll be in Beech Grove, and then November 13th, and that one is in Fishers. Amazon employees are also gathering this afternoon to pack 2,000 care packages for those experiencing homelessness. Those packages will include essential items, winter supplies, and personal care products. Amazon says this is a $20,000 community initiative. They'll be making stops across the city, including at Wheeler Mission. The ongoing government shutdown remains the second longest in our country's history. If there's no end by tomorrow night, it'll mean a pause on critical funding for millions of American families. 600,000 of those people live here in Indiana. Our Logan Gay is looking into the growing effort by Hoosiers to help each other.
Local organizations like the Indianapolis Office of Public Health and Safety and Indy Peace are used to filling in the gaps in underserved communities facing food insecurities with free meal events like this one.
We try to have a variety of meats, fruits, vegetables, protein. We don't want to just give people anything, but rather a balanced meal.
Now they've got even more to consider in November if the government shutdown continues.
The Indy Peace team is thinking about how SNAP benefits may affect our communities. Communities that are already underserved, communities that already have issues, how something like this may trigger more issues.
To help, they have a full schedule of food giveaways all November. Jeff Davis picked up a bag on Wednesday for his family. He hopes this opportunity will be food for the stomach and the soul for Hoosiers facing uncertainty.
You got to help each other, you know. So, and you feel like it's important because you feel like somebody cares. You know somebody cares about you.
Pastor Kenneth Sullivan with New Direction Baptist Church says he and his members are also doing their part to help Hoosiers impacted by the SNAP pause.
You have a lot of people who use these benefits to make a difference and subsidize their income.
They've started a Stock the Shelves campaign to collect as much food as possible. Plus, they're partnering with Gleaners Food Bank and Indy Fresh Market to pass out gift cards. They're doing all of this every Sunday in November after their 11:30 a.m. service. Sullivan believes this is an opportunity for the community to show faith in action.
This is something that takes all of us. We're a city, we're a community, and so we all have to show some love and really step up and lean in.
And we have all the information about where you can drop off donations and pick up food from New Direction on our website, as well as the full schedule for OPHS food pickups coming up throughout the month of November. And we've got a quick and easy way for you to get rid of your old papers and electronics and do so safely. You can drop them off at the Crime Stoppers Shred It Day, and WTHR is helping host that event. It's going to be in the South Lot of the Indianapolis Zoo next Saturday, November the 8th. We'll be there all morning from 8:30 until 12:30 in the afternoon. And we've got info and other locations at WTHR.com/shred.